Jillian, tell me a little bit about your background.
So I am a competitive rock climber, and I started an adaptive climbing program at my gym up the street, Mesa Rim, and I started that before I ever knew I'd be an adaptive athlete. And then shortly after starting, I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Nice. And so I've been partaking in this program. I started with that and coaching and competing. And
so are many people climbing who have MS?
Not many. It's really underrepresented in the climbing community, which is really unfortunate. But we do have a lot of kids and adults with cerebral palsy. We have a lot of amputees and things like that. But the MS community really hasn't put roots down. Yeah, they haven't put roots in climbing yet.
And that's something you're trying to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when you look back at all that you've accomplished, what do you look at as the high moment for you?
I really think it revolves more around the program I started versus my own climbing career.
You like giving back.
Yeah. And I like watching the transformation of these climbers that we've been raising and fostering. And so last year we took our team to the national championships in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they all just did amazing. We did it the year before as well, but this past year was really where everyone kind of came into their own and their own climbing, and they really just embraced it. And it was amazing.
So besides climbing, were you into other sports before?
Yeah, I grew up as a ballerina, actually.
Okay.
I did that for most of my life growing up, but I grew up in the Northeast.
Okay.
And so outdoors were always a big part of my life, and I was a skier and a snowboarder and a gymnast, and I did track and field, and I just dabbled in everything.
So, and now besides rock climbing, do you do some of the other stuff?
I still ski, and I do some wakeboarding during the summer, and I surf, but climbing is definitely my focus.
That's your focus.
Yeah.
And when you guys do climbing competitions, are we talking fixed walls where you're like indoor type of climbing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they're in these massive climbing gyms.
Yes.
And they'll set, 75 routes or so, and each route has a point value, so you try to get your top 3 highest points.
Yes.
And then that's kind of how they determine the winner.
How has having MS limited you in terms of your climbing, or has it?
It really hasn't. I mean, if it wasn't for adaptive climbing, it definitely would. But to be able to get embraced by CAF and these adaptive climbers all over the world is so incredible. And so it really hasn't limited me at all. If anything, it's given me more opportunities than if I didn't have MS. So if nothing else, it's helped me.
When you were diagnosed, what did you know about MS? And was there a point there where, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about it. I had seen a TV show where a character supposedly had MS. That's really the expanse of my knowledge.
Which might be good.
Yeah, sort of, but it was not super realistic. But yeah, it kind of just seemed like everything was over. And how old were you? I was 20.
Or 20 years old.
And I had just moved to California a month prior.
Oh my God.
And so it was just chaos. But what I did know is that I had been working with CAF to build up my climbing program. And so I knew that although I didn't know what was going on with me, I knew that I had people who were going to help me through it.
So you were already working with CAF before you were diagnosed.
Yeah.
That is pretty ironic. Wow.
Yeah, CAF had helped me start my climbing program, my adaptive program.
Here in California, or?
Yeah, it was here in California. It's right up the road at Mesa Rim. It's just the gym I work at.
Yeah.
And so they were the ones who came in and helped me learn about it and helped us put the word out for our clinic. And they really were the knowledge background for adaptive everything.
And when you get diagnosed with MS, climbing isn't something that people would go, oh, you have MS, why don't you go climb? Why don't you go climb a mountain? That sounds like a good thing. Did you have some naysayers saying, sometimes doctors can be a little limiting?
Oh, yeah. I had doctors, they're like, you're never going to climb again. Don't go to altitude. Don't, just take a nap, take it easy. And I was like,
lay around the house. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the day after I got diagnosed, I went and climbed in the gungs. So
Did you really?
It didn't last long. Yeah.
So you realized pretty quickly that these guys are a little clueless.
Yeah. And it's always in the back of your head, especially if you have a bad day climbing, you're kind of like, well, maybe they were right. Maybe this isn't what I should be doing.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of laugh and you're like, just kidding.
So you really haven't seen any limitations in terms of your climbing?
I mean, I have. It's hard, and there's days that are good and there's days that are bad, but it's like that with every athlete,
Yes, that's true.
And every athlete has, whether or not they're challenged or able-bodied, they have these things that will always make it hard, and
Yes.
they'll have things that hold them back, and I don't ever think it's an excuse to stop or slow down. So
I love
it's
that.
everyone has something that will hold them back in some way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what is your what's your ultimate goal?
So I have a lot. So I focus on obviously competitive climbing, but I also have my goals in outdoor climbing. And so my really long-term goal was to climb Mount Whitney and then ski down the East Face. But the snow here has been less than ideal, so that's not happening. But I just competed at the World Championships in France this past year.
In outdoor climbing?
In indoor climbing,
okay,
competitive, yeah. And so I'm hoping in 2018 to requalify for the U.S. team and then go to Austria to
for
compete
World Championships.
Again. So,
do we have Olympic climbing and Paralympic climbing does not exist at this point?
Olympic climbing does. They just accepted it into the Olympics. Yeah.
How fun is that?
Yeah. But
well, if they just accepted it, that's sort of what happened with triathlon is eventually there's Paralympics in the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. They thought about it this year for Paralympics, and then there just aren't enough adaptive climbers to represent it.
You will help make that happen.
Yep. So hopefully.
Similar to triathlon, we had to get people and we had to get federations all over the world to embrace the sport.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're in the Paralympics.
Yep. So it's hard with climbing because people kind of look at it and they're just like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
So hopefully, with enough determination and help from all the countries who are already involved, then it'll spread.
Now, how many people are involved with your climbing programs now?
So we have a couple different formats. We have a team which consists of 27 people, but then we also do clinics and workshops, and we bring in a lot more kids and adults. So
with MS or just challenge athletes overall?
Any kind of challenge.
Any type of challenge.
So we do physical and we also do developmental.
Yes.
And so we'll work with the people who are involved with CAF, but we'll also work with kids and adults with autism and Down syndrome and more of those developmental disabilities. So it's a cool blend of people, and I think the combination of those things is what creates such a good environment.
What I love about climbing is it's one, you're indoors, you can see what's going on, you can see where people have issues. What is it about the sport that is so perfect for the adaptive community?
I think it's so unique in that there is no set way to do it. No route will ever be the same. No boulder problem will be the same. There's always something that fits someone.
Right.
It's not just running. It's not just shooting hoops. It's so different, and there's millions of ways you can orient a climb. So there's always something that will fit a climber.
Was there a favorite moment that you have from working with other folks that sticks out for you? Is something that you call on whenever when you were thinking about, okay, what were some of my favorite moments? That was one.
There's been so many. I think this past year at Nationals, a girl I was working with got first place. And it was just like sobbing all throughout our team. And it's unique because she really
What was her challenge?
She has cerebral palsy.
Okay, wow.
And it's interesting because she really struggled when she first got into climbing. Even with her interest in it, she wasn't super dedicated. And then as time went on, she became so focused and spent so much time in the gym and really, really started to love it. And so to see all that hard work pay off, it was beautiful. It was such a great moment.
So for you, the fact that you were diagnosed and you were already climbing, did it make it easier to deal with the MS?
Definitely, because I had been climbing my whole life, and I started climbing when I was just a little...
What got you into climbing?
I don't know. Well, I grew up in the Northeast, and we lived in the middle of the woods at the base of the Appalachian Mountains.
So you didn't have much of an option.
Yeah, my mom would push me outside, close the door, and be like, "Okay, bye."
There's a mountain that way. There's a forest over there.
Come back when it's dark. Yeah. So it was just kind of natural, and I just started bumbling around on boulders. And then as I got older, went on these climbing trips with friends, and just really got to explore nature, and so I always just latched onto it. So.
I love it. Jillian, well, thanks so much for being such a great representative of CAF. And so if people want to find out about how they can get involved with climbing, where should they go?
They can go to macerim.com. It has all the info for our program, or they can always email me at jillian@macerim.com.
Love it. Jillian, thank you so much. That's the beauty of CAF is the variety of sports that we're involved with, right? So you're a climber. James Sau is going to be coming on next, is quad rugby player. If you want to help out, donatecaf.com. And today only, our longtime partner, Aspen Medical Products, they'll match every donation dollar for dollar. We always like that when someone matches. And Aspen has been with us since 2000, and that's Jeff Garth and Dan Williamson. Those guys are the absolute best. check us out. You can go to our Facebook stream, which is below, if you want to ask any questions about CAF or about any of our athletes. This is Breakfast from CAF. Jillian, thanks so much.
Thank you.